There's some cool rice coming out of South Florida, and most of all the rice that comes out is mostly all organic. So that's super cool. We've been growing some vanilla bean here,
What?
which is really super cool.
I'm Dalia Colon, and this is The Zest. Citrus, seafood, Spanish flavor, and Southern charm. The Zest celebrates cuisine and community in the Sunshine State. Today, he's the face of Fresh from Florida, the guy filling your social media feed with all that mouth-watering food. We're catching up with Chef Justin Timineri. Today, we're catching up with friend of the pod, Justin Timineri. As executive chef for the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services Fresh from Florida program, he is the state's official culinary ambassador. How sweet does that gig sound? And it is pretty great, but as we'll hear, it's also a lot of work. I recently caught up with Chef Justin. In our conversation, he recalls his earliest food memories from his Tallahassee childhood. He shares stories from his remarkable career that has included showcasing our state's food all over the world. And he shares his favorite Florida food trends.
My name is Justin Timineri. I am the culinary ambassador for the state of Florida. So I work full-time for the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. And basically my job is to teach consumers what's growing in the state of Florida, when it's available, and then how to simply incorporate that into their everyday diets through fun, simple, fresh, delicious, and easy recipes.
Oh, that's perfect. And you are such a good follow on Instagram and Facebook because it does look inviting, but also doable, which we always love. So let's back up. Can I ask when you were born and where did you grow up?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was born in 1975. So I'm actually turning 50 next year, which is a big milestone, but I'm super excited about it because listen, life is good.
Yeah. Who's got to cook your birthday dinner? No pressure.
Probably me.
Oh, gosh.
Because that's what I love to do, though.
Yeah.
So it's all good.
Did you always love cooking? Where did you grow up?
Yeah. So grew up right here in Tallahassee, Florida, my hometown, and that's where I'm raising my son today. So love this place. But what else makes it so great is that I get to travel all over the state, the country, and the world. So that makes it so much better. But growing up here, Tallahassee, and then my love of cooking came at a real early age, surrounded by good cooks that knew what good living was about. So whether it was my mom, my grandmother, my dad, all amazing cooks. So I was always in the kitchen. I knew that was the center of everything. And I loved all the things that were going on there, the smells, the sweat, the work, all of that stuff really intrigued me. So I was always you could always find me in the kitchen from a really young age. And that's how it really started.
Wow. Is there a dish that reminds you of that time? Like one of the first dishes I learned to make was French toast. And that was something I could make on my own using the stove. And so that always has like a special place in my heart.
Yeah. A couple things. Well, one of my first favorite dishes and food memories that when I recall still gives me not only chills, but I could almost taste the dish. I could feel it deep down in my chest. So, during a sweet corn season, we would go pick fresh sweet corn and, my grandmother would make it that evening for dinner. I would wake up the next morning and I could smell her making sweet corn fritters. Ooh. With the leftover sweet corn. And so she would serve those up with either some cane syrup or maybe a little maple if you prefer. But, just one of my favorite food memories that just takes me all the way back, but for me, growing up too, I was kind of a latchkey kid, my mom, single mom, worked her butt off to make sure that we had what we needed. So I would come home from school and I would be messing around in the kitchen, making myself grilled cheese and mac and cheese and pancakes. And so that's where I started to kind of figure out that hey, I can do this and I like this and this is fun and serves a lot of purposes and could serve me well through my entire life. So
I would say that it has. So then you took it to another level because of where you are today. So how did you get from there to here?
yeah, a fun story, and I'm so incredibly blessed to be able to do what I love, and I think the main thing to get out of this is just really follow your passion because that's really what life is about. But I knew I wanted to work in kitchens and work with food. I wasn't sure how I wanted to do it. So when I was old enough, my first job, obviously, I got in a restaurant. I was washing dishes. I needed to kind of really bottom line was I needed to make money and all that stuff. So, getting into that environment and just kind of trying to see it and understand it. I knew I liked it. I could see it was very tough. I could see it chewed people up and spit people out. I mean, so many lessons in a kitchen. And I tell people all the time, mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be chefs because it is a really tough world, but it's also very rewarding.
So you've had this job for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
How has
Yeah.
it changed? Or how have we as
Yeah.
consumers changed?
Yeah, absolutely. There certainly has been a lot of change, but I think the biggest thing that I've seen, the biggest thing that has given me encouragement is consumers wanting and looking for more awareness about food in general, right? Where does it come from? What's been done to it? How can I get it fresh? Who has it? What can I do with it to incorporate? So all these things and hopefully moving away from a lot of that really quick food culture into to understanding that it doesn't take a ton of time to be able to cook healthy, fresh, simple meals. And let me tell you, I know because I do it. I'm a single father with an 11-year-old who's incredibly active. I mean, waking up and getting him up and making him lunch every day and ready for school, all those things, and then making sure that a home cooked meal is on the table at night. I mean, we don't eat super fancy chef dinners every night, but we eat good, and that's important. And I want my son to understand the importance of cooking and how that can affect his entire life and his relationships as well, being able to navigate this complex food culture that we live in.
Yes, that's so good. And I love how it's like, don't let perfect be the enemy of good.
Yeah, no
Get something
way.
on the table. It's going to be better than
Yeah,
ordering takeout, probably.
for sure, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Your job sounds amazing to me. And maybe it's just the pictures that I see you post. I know it's not always probably that glamorous, but can you describe like a typical day or week if there
Yeah.
is such a thing?
Yeah, for sure. I have so much fun, but it is a ton of work and it varies so much. I have a research and development kitchen kind of on the other side of town in Tallahassee, and we do a bunch of different things in there. We were in there earlier this week doing still photo shoots with a few things that we have going on, a few other things we wanted to push out for before Thanksgiving and stuff. Like I did a really cool purple sweet potato pie. Can't wait for that to come out. That looks fun. So developing recipes, not only developing simple, fun, and fresh recipes in the kitchen, but we also need high definition photos to come along with that. And that means other talented people as well, artists that are doing the design and the photographers that are taking, so a lot of skilled people to do all that stuff. So, and this kitchen serves as my home base for all the different events that I do as well. So lots of different events. I was just at the country's largest produce expo in Atlanta, IFPLA, where we had a ginormous Florida booth and about 25 to 30 Florida companies in there, growers that we help them facilitate sales to buyers, not only here in the US, but from all over the world. So I'll do the same thing at the world's largest seafood expo in Boston. So from small hometown events to going into some schools and helping promote healthy eating and fruit and vegetable education to big events. I'll be at the South Beach Food and Wine. It's just so many different things. I do big international, the world's largest seafood expo in Barcelona, Spain every year as well, where we take not only Florida companies, but of course USA companies from the Southeast, and again, help facilitate sales. And you can imagine some of these big shows, these buyers come in and they're looking at all these things to buy. And where I come in is I can actually cook these items so they can taste. I mean, it would be tough to buy all this product without tasting it. So that's where the chef comes in. So it's really cool. Lots of different things. So being a part of the Fresh from Florida team here at the Department of Ag is really incredible.
Was there a particular day or particular trip where you just had to pinch yourself and say, I can't believe I get to do this?
Yeah. So really one of my favorite things is like I mentioned earlier, is to working with kids, and especially when you can go into classrooms or schools. And for instance, I'll bring in some avocados and stuff and be like, hey, we're gonna make some guacamole, and they look at me and they're like, some of them are like, oh, and the other ones are like, what? And we all get together and we pit and peel the avocados, and we're hand tearing cilantro, we're squeezing limes, we're seasoning, we're mashing, we're mixing, and then we're eating with chips, and they're like, man, we made this and it's delicious, and just seeing the joy on their faces, so that kind of stuff, is really what makes it so rewarding. But another one of my sheer favorite things I got to do, was go to London Olympic Games in 2012 and cook for USA athletes in the USA House. So we brought in Florida goods all the way to London to cook for these athletes, to give them a feeling and a place at home. Obviously, they're very regimented in what they have to do. These are premier athletes in the world. So, at the USA House, they get to come and relax a little bit and spend a little bit of time with their friends and family, and to be able to eat some food from home. So, not only that, but getting to go sing the national anthem after watching American athletes win gold. I got to meet Jackie Jordan personally. I mean, like I could go, just ridiculous.
My mouth is like hitting the. Yeah. I mean, I enjoy my life, but your life, I wouldn't mind trading places with you for a month or two.
I'm insanely lucky, but I work hard and things are good.
Yeah, sounds that way. Okay, this is a big question. Somebody asked me the other day, someone from another country, how do I define Florida food? I mean, you've talked about corn, you've talked about watermelon, avocado, and then shipping these foods out to other places. So I wonder, how does the world think of Florida food?
Yeah. So, the world is one thing, but I think for me, when I get asked that question, I mean, this state is so amazing. We have so many different amazing cultures here that really make this state super cool. And when you mix that with the Gulf, the Atlantic, and all of our amazing agriculture that we have here in the state, you just have an incredible culinary paradise. But for me, it's a mixture of so many things, right? You have Southern cuisine, right? Your traditional Southern U.S. style cuisine. And then you have roots from all over the place. Caribbean is always a big influence, and something that, like I was meant to be, luckily I live here in Florida, but if I didn't live here, I would be living in the Caribbean, because that to me is my favorite style of food as well. I think you've got fresh fish, fresh fruit, you're good to go.
Yeah, I'm
You
just
know,
picturing like a really colorful plate. Are there any
yeah.
new
So,
products? Oh, go on, go on.
well, so I would say, the Caribbean, the Latin. I mean, there's just so much that make Florida a wonderful melting pot. So I'm not sure you could put one definition, but I think it's just a kind of a fresh feeling mixture of all those things. So all those wonderful cultures utilizing amazing agriculture and seafood products. So you have an amazing place to live and eat and play here in the state. So
Yeah, it's kind of like I'm a crafter. So as you're talking, I'm picturing being at the craft store and saying, okay, what's the one thing everybody's making? Well, everybody is going to take these items and do something different
yeah,
with them.
yes.
Yeah, very cool. Are there any new products you're excited about?
Yeah, there's a couple really cool things that I've been looking at. One of the neatest things I've seen lately are the finger limes. So I'm really hoping that those catch on a little more. They're a citrus relative. They grow on a little thorny shrub or small tree, and they're super cool. You bust them open, it's like this citrus caviar, and you can kind of do the same thing with a pomelo, which pomelos are in right now. But check out some pomelos too, super cool. But also, there's some cool rice coming out of South Florida, and most of all the rice that comes out is mostly all organic. So that's super cool. We've been growing some vanilla bean here,
What?
which is really super cool. We all know that fresh vanilla is expensive, so to be able to have that in our arsenal here, and it makes sense. Super tropical, so really cool. Blackberries I've been seeing a lot of. Who doesn't love some delicious blackberries? I mean, all the possibilities with recipes, sweet and savory, to do. So been on the lookout more with Florida blackberries. I've been seeing Florida lemons actually in the store, which is something I haven't traditionally seen. I mean, of course, we're known for a lot of incredible citrus. I mentioned the pomelo citrus is coming in right now too. It's early, but got to keep an eye out for that.
Wait, what do you mean you haven't seen Florida lemons in the store much?
I haven't seen, not up here, I haven't seen Florida lemons too much in the store, and certainly not in your grocery store. Maybe I've seen them at markets, farmers markets and things, but not packaged traditional in your grocery store. So I thought
Okay.
that was really cool.
So it's more coming from Mexico, probably? Where does our food come
Right?
from?
Yeah, I would think that most of the lemons that come in are coming in from Mexico, but I'm
Got it.
not 100% sure on
Okay.
that. There's been some really cool and delicious caviar out there, and aquaculture is huge and something that's going to continue to grow in this state. I mean, most of the oysters that are coming out are aquaculture. They've been working hard, continuing to work hard on combating citrus greening. They're using AI to look at a lot of things in agriculture, which is interesting. I've seen some cool technology in the drones that they've been using for stuff. So lots of different stuff going on, and agriculture is a cool space where you have technology and old world traditional practices that have to kind of mix and integrate and so really cool stuff. And gives me hope to see more and more of these younger generations not only asking about their food, but getting into, even if it's just growing a little bit of herbs in their own garden, or just simply planting some tomatoes to have at their house, but just doing more of that and having a better understanding, a better appreciation for what it takes to have a safe, steady, healthy, and delicious supply of food that we honestly take for granted here in the state of Florida.
Yeah, I think we do. It's interesting because it sounds like there is something new under the sun. It seems
Yeah.
like, oh, we've been eating the same foods forever, and in a way we have, but there is always something new. And I think there's something new in terms of the climate. Obviously, climate change probably affects your job. We've just come off a hurricane season that was
Yep.
crazy devastating. And I know you were out there feeding the essential workers.
Yep.
So just on like just for my own amusement, how do you decide what to feed these people who are so important to us?
Yeah, for sure. Well, they work incredibly hard. It is a big complex state, so it takes a lot of people to keep it moving and going. And natural disasters, man, it's tough. I had big tornadoes that came through Tallahassee. I had a couple trees on my house. I'm still working on recovering it, and there's still problems in my neighborhood. So it is tough, but we're incredibly thankful for these people that are working hard. So it's the least we could do to try to make sure they have a good meal. Luckily, they get a lot of good meals in there. So we try to jump in the rotation when we can, and we take a look at their menus are all planned out of what they've had the past couple days, what they're going to be having the next few days, and then we try to get in there to offer something a little different. Not only a little different, but we want to make sure that they're getting some good healthy stuff that represents the state of Florida for them. So really cool, fun process getting to feed those hardworking folks. So we want to thank them.
Is there anything in particular? We're not all going to have the opportunity to feed the linemen or something like that. But I'm just thinking, when your friend has a baby or someone has a surgery, you're bringing them food, and it's similar. Is there anything you bring people, either the essential workers or just, your own friends and family, that just knocks it out of the park every time?
I've been doing a lot of this Florida vegetable pimento cheese dip, which everybody loves, and I can make it ahead of time, and I can store it and package it up and transport it easily. So the recipe is definitely on our website, and it's kind of a traditional Southern style pimento cheese dip, but I take a lot of fresh veggies and I grate them and I mix it in. So you have this really good fresh kind of crunch added in to this wonderful recipe. So that's been a fun one to really take around it. And we all love some hot food, but this is a way that they don't have to eat it then. And so that's been putting some smiles on people's faces. So that it's a fun one.
Ooh,
so check out that recipe. Although, of course, all our recipes are on freshfromflorida.com. Lots of great stuff on there, no matter what time of year it is. Go on there and check the seasonal availability and the corresponding recipes, because it is delicious.
It's a feast for your eyes. I know everybody always says we eat with our eyes first, and it's just a rainbow as soon as you go on that website. Love that. It's been so much fun to catch up with you. Yes. You always have something interesting going on, and I love living through you.
Well, thank you so much. It is always a pleasure.
Justin Timineri is executive chef for the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services Fresh from Florida program. And if you're one of those people who is looking for new dinner ideas or what produce is in season, you definitely need to be following Fresh from Florida on social media. So many great ideas there. And Chef Justin shared his recipe for Florida sweet corn and ricotta fritters. You'll find that on our website, thezestpodcast.com. One other thing, if you want to learn even more about Chef Justin, check out my profile of him in the spring issue of Forum, which is the magazine of Florida humanities. You'll find a link on our website, again, thezestpodcast.com. I'm Dalia Colon. I produce The Zest with Andrew Lucas and Alexandria Ebron. The Zest is a production of WUSF, copyright 2025, part of the NPR network.